Hello, Lou Hamilton from Audible Elegance here in Cincinnati, Ohio. We are located on the Montgomery Road, a couple doors north of the original Montgomery Inn and across the street from Montgomery Cyclery. My staff does work on Facebook, Instagram, and X. And it's not the same as what I do. And I write a monthly blog. This month's was very personal. Next month's a little fun, answering a question. I'm in my dress whites in respect to the work done by the cardiac ICU unit for 4 months to keep my wife alive as they hunted for a new heart to replace her first transplanted heart that failed fairly quickly. And to the ICU staff who did everything to keep my wife alive and did an extraordinary job with some real challenges. And well done, folks. Well done. I won't leave the doctors out, but when you're a hospital that's ranked #1 for 25 years in a row, I think the facts speak for themselves on that. Great staff. What I wanted to talk about today was a kind of a challenge I received from someone who was interested in listening to a very expensive phono cartridge and questioning why we did not have one on the sales floor. And you have to go back a number of years with us. At one time, we actually had Lynn turntables. We had 8 of them, LP12s, on the floor at one time, allowing us to do exact comparisons between the cartridges on exactly the same turntable. We don't have the luxury of having 10 turntables of anything right now, and probably never will because there's no basis for it. But when someone wants to understand how a cartridge sounds, you have to keep in mind that it's also going to be reflective of the table that it is on, as well as the tone arm. And so to prescribe a particular sound to a cartridge absolutely in one setup is really not accurate. You really have to listen to it specific, if you're going to be exact, on the exact setup that you're thinking about doing. The other thing is that, as I mentioned earlier, phono cartridges, particularly moving coil, have a shelf life where they're deadly accurate, and then they're not. That can be 2 or 3 years in the box. It can be as short as a year out of the box, particularly if you're in a high pollution area. And they are an expendable. So, you use them up the minute you start playing them. So if the dealer's not confident that he's going to sell many of them, or not confident that people are going to buy it from them and haul off someplace else, there's very little motivation in terms of financial reward for the dealership, nor guaranteeing the accuracy of what the customer will eventually get, because they may have a different application. And certainly it's very difficult for us to select, so to speak, a cartridge for somebody unless we know what the table is as well as the tone arm. I get questions all the time. What do I think about this cartridge or that cartridge? It could be Ortofon. It could be any number of companies. And without knowing the rest of the facts, it's akin to someone saying, well, what do you think of the Pirelli, 18 by inch tires that are this tread and all that, when I don't even know what car it's supposed to be put on? There's no way of judging it. I don't know. It may be appropriate, it may be completely inappropriate. I just don't know. So we try to be honest in our answers, and sometimes the only honest answer we can give is we don't know. It's that simple. So we'll try to do the best we can when we know what you have. I'd really like to limit it to customers who come into my store and actually buy things. I've started getting some questions from people sincerely that are picking my brain, I suppose. And some of it's fine. It gives me ideas for new videos or actually a blog. But I can't give away free advice all the time and still have a living. It just doesn't work. And if you want to put it in perspective, just imagine having essentially about $12 million in medical services provided on your wife. Not all of that's free. Okay, folks? So there are obligations I got to take care of because I love someone. And that's just the way it is. There we are.